Is this a bad
or
time to tell you
ourselves.
that I'm just in it for the fan mail?
Joe wants to get positive feedback, so please send fan mail.
Mm-hmm. And you know, the ones that are like, I got this book years ago and it like either A, turned me on to you, B, saved my life, C, gave me new meaning or perspective. Possibly D, all three. Like, those are the ones that are like, I'm like, okay, yes, this is why we do it. Hi, I'm Joe Beal, the founder and CEO of Microcosm Publishing. I'm also the author of A People's Guide to Publishing, which distills what I've learned from selling millions of books over the past 28 years.
I'm Elly Blue, the Vice President of Microcosm. We started this podcast to share what we've learned with newer publishers, so you can learn from our mistakes. Or maybe you just want to learn about the publishing industry.
And now, our own takeaway from said trade show mathematics. So, what is our goal at trade shows?
Our goal with everything we do is to sell books.
Whoa!
I know. This is a radical idea in the world of publishing. Have fun doing it and, like, meet certain ethical standards related to our mission. And yeah, let me dial that back. Okay, our goal is to fulfill our mission, which is to give people the tools they need to change their lives and then the world. Mm-hmm. And we do that by selling books. So when we go to a trade show, it needs to
do that.
But
and so how has that been going?
Well, I did the bunch of math. When it was time to plan this fall trade show season, I was like, okay, I am going to sit down and figure out how to do this, because we've been doing trade shows for how long? Like 10 years? More. And 12, we've always 15. Been trying to do it better, and it seems like we've been getting diminishing results over that entire amount of time.
One publisher asked me if we are like David Hasselhoff in Germany, which I did get the reference for, Michelle, is that no, the problem isn't that we're an unknown in our own region. It's that we're seemingly too saturated in our own region, that like our brand is too solid, that we just aren't picking up new booksellers. Like, they know the books, they know Microcosm, so we actually get better return in the Midwest than we do in the Northwest.
Yeah, I mean, the goal of the trade show is to, like, connect with booksellers, get them to buy your book, and get them to hand sell your book to customers, because ideally they fall in love with it and tell everybody that comes into their store what an amazing book it is. Mm-hmm. And that's, like, booksellers are the most charming people in the world, so, like, going to these shows always feels really good. Like, we always come out of it, like, with this nice little glow of, like, oh, we met so many wonderful people and saw so many great books and talked with those wonderful people about those great books. But money-wise, I did the math on all of our trade shows for the past year, and I found that by any metric I could come up with, we lost $20,000.
More than
$20,000.
And that's after sales. That's, like, what it costs us. Mm-hmm. Minus what we're getting out of it, mm-hmm. is more than $20,000 at a loss.
Yeah, and I mean, I think some of that $20,000 is defrayed by, like, stores that find out about us and then order, like, many months later, so they weren't captured in that data. Some of those sales are defrayed by, like, strengthening relationships long term, but, like, no matter what way you slice it, like, those enhanced relationships into, like, new relationships, it's still hundreds, if not thousands of dollars per relationship.
We found it was about $1,000 per new account. And most bookstores do not order $1,000 within the first year. So then it takes multiple years to recoup per new account. And then, I guess the obvious thing is that we're doing the shows every year, so we're forever at a deficit because we're not gaining new accounts that are paying for those shows faster than we're accumulating new expenses.
Yeah, and I think if we were new, we would be introducing ourselves for the first time to so many booksellers. Like, it probably would be worth it. Like, that cost per new account would be much lower. Mm-hmm. But because we're established, it does seem like the trade shows are working, but they're just working at a very great cost.
Yeah.
That doesn't... Yeah, so we tried to do things a little bit differently this year, like going to PNBA, and instead of even trying to sell our books, we were like, we're here as media. Mm-hmm. and we went to Heartland, but we were there in like an educational capacity. So we tried those things, and then we'll see based on math. But we're actually trying different ways to reach booksellers directly, rather than going to trade shows for the next year. That's our main experiment, and those things are working.
Yeah, and that's kind of, this is the maybe more concerning detail, is that for us, based on all of the math and metrics we could make available, trade shows were the least rewarding return on our costs. Like, it would literally be better, cheaper, more effective, however you slice it, to literally send care packages to booksellers
Which we've been doing.
than it would be to like attend the trade shows. And like, they appreciate it more because it doesn't feel quite the same, you know? It's like more of a sweet gesture. And I thought we were missing something, so I went back to the trade associations and I was like, what are we missing? Like, how long of a swath should we be measuring? And I got quite a bit of, oh no, it's really complicated, it's marketing, it's not selling, you wouldn't be measuring this in selling. And I'm like, but
the point of marketing is to sell things.
Right, if marketing never turns into selling.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, like, we need a longer window. What would that longer window be? And they'd be like, there is never a window that you could capture this marketing.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the point where I was like, okay,
If you guys don't know what the benefit of your own show is, then that's a problem too. Like,
Yeah.
and you know, honestly, like, these shows are put on by people who like do such a good job of event organizing. They care so much about the industry and the people they work with. Like, all of this is so well intentioned, and it keeps going because everybody keeps going to them. Like, I mean, we kept going for years because we saw other publishers going, and we're like, well, it obviously works for them. Why doesn't it work for us? But then when we talked to those other publishers, they didn't really seem to know if it worked for them or not either.
yeah. And that was kind of what we got a lot of, was that either people looking at intangibles or admitting that they don't measure it, or other variations on that theme. So yeah, it was kind of a doozy, but you know, and it kind of reinvigorated us to do targeted mailings, to do direct mailings, to send care packages, to look at, you know, to like create our own, the microcosm guarantee, where we ship bookstore orders faster than Ingram. And, you know, other things where like we could really reward those people better than spending money on like travel in a hotel, you know?
And then, like, you always get sick when you travel in hotels, so then there's that too.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting sick because we send them some books and zines in the mail.
If you
And a cute
do,
letter.
we're really sorry. We didn't mean to.
Yeah, maybe let us know before you alert the FBI.
Thanks for joining us once again.
Please send your questions to podcast@microcosmpublishing.com so we can answer them on future episodes.
And please give us 5 stars on iTunes and everywhere else that podcasts are reviewed.
You can find us on the internet at microcosm.pub,
On Twitter at microcosm,
on Facebook at Microcosm Publishing,
on Instagram at microcosm_pub.
and here in Portland, Oregon on North Williams Avenue.
Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful week.